Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION The World is One. I'm Adha Juneja and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the stories making headlines today. The US and Iran have agreed to a peace deal which will end military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon. The initial announcement from mediator Pakistan was quickly confirmed by Washington and Tehran. In an official signing ceremony that is scheduled for June 19th in Switzerland, well, in a post on Donald Trump's Truth Social network, he said the Strait of Hormuz would reopen, US naval blockade would be removed after the planned signing of the deal on Friday, apparently contradicting an earlier statement that the crucial waterway would open immediately. Iran said that the newly announced agreement with the US puts an immediate end to the country's war. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Kazim Garibabadi, in televised comments, said that negotiations for a final deal will be held during a 60-day period, adding that Tehran would take its own measures in case of breaches from the other side. The content of the agreement remains unclear. Iran's Mehr news agency reported that the US will release $12 billion in frozen assets to Iran before the start of negotiations. It quoted a 14-point memorandum of understanding between the two nations, which it said stipulates the release of $24 billion in frozen Iranian assets during the 60-day negotiation period that begins after the MOU is signed. US Vice President J.D. Vance hailed a new agreement with Iran as a big moment for the United States of America that would eliminate Tehran's nuclear threat. In an interview on Fox News Channel's The Big Weekend Show, Vance stated that if the terms of the deal are met, it is going to fundamentally transform the West Asia for the next 50 years by ending conflict and lowering energy prices for the American people. E4 nations, including the United Kingdom, France, Germany and Italy, said the countries were prepared to lift sanctions on Iran in response to steps on its nuclear program after the US and Iran reached a deal to end the war. Well, the leaders of the countries said in a joint statement, and I quote, "Iran must never acquire a nuclear weapon. We stand ready to work with the US, Iran and the IAEA to this end." End of quote. A fragile ceasefire is under fresh strain in Lebanon. Israel has issued evacuation orders for 29 villages in the south and launched strikes in Beirut's southern suburbs, in which Lebanon's civil defense says 3 people have been killed in those strikes after accusing Hezbollah of firing projectiles into northern Israel. The latest escalation comes at a very sensitive moment, with regional powers pushing for a broader diplomatic settlement. Amid uncertainty over the Iran peace deal and a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, the US President Donald Trump has reportedly expressed his anger at Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over recent Israeli strikes in Beirut. According to an Axios report, Trump has slammed the Israeli PM over Israeli strikes on the Lebanese capital. But the report says Trump also claimed the US-Iran deal to end the war is still on track despite the strikes and the Iranian threat to retaliate. However, Iranian officials haven't confirmed any deal is expected to be signed. The number of confirmed Ebola cases in Congo has increased to 782 with 181 deaths. However, the number of cases in Congo is believed to be higher because the outbreak was confirmed on 15th of May, weeks after it is suspected to have begun, and the contact tracking coverage rate is at 56%. Well, 56 people have recovered, and the current fatality rate of the outbreak is 23%. Now, the outbreak is concentrated in Congo's eastern province of Ituri, which accounts for more than 90% of the cases. In Ukraine, Kiev mayor said that 6 people were wounded while a cathedral in the famed Orthodox complex caught fire after Russian strikes. Authorities have urged residents to remain in shelter amid continued air raid alerts. Meanwhile, 5 people were killed and 5 others were injured in northeastern Ukraine following a Russian strike. A Russian drone attack also hit the Kharkiv Art Museum, injuring 6 people, including a child. A Ukrainian drone strike killed 3 people and wounded 3 others in the Russian city of Tula, around 200 kilometers south of Moscow. According to initial information, a 1-year-old child was among the 3 wounded. A skydiving plane crashed in the central U.S. state of Missouri, killing 12 people on board. The crash occurred near Butler Memorial Airport, about 95 kilometers south of Kansas City. The private plane carrying 11 skydivers and a pilot turned around for an unknown reason after taking off and crashed near a highway. With nearby Kansas City hosting several Football World Cup matches, authorities were quick to underline that they saw nothing like terrorism or crime related in the crash. US President Donald Trump hosted a UFC fight night on the White House grounds. Well, the event is part of programming for America's 250th anniversary and also falls on the president's 80th birthday. While the event was generated enthusiasm among MAGA allies and supporters, it has drawn rebukes from Trump critics and from some Republicans. Protesters rallied outside the White House while attendees flocked into the surrounding fan zones and watch party. Thousands of anti-G7 protesters clashed with police in Geneva a day before world leaders convened in nearby Yvin, France. Organized by the No G7 coalition, the demonstrations drew an estimated 20,000 activists. Demonstrators protested global inequality, corporate policies, and the recent war on Iran. The situation deteriorated as protesters set car ablaze, smashed storefront windows and threw firecrackers and rocks at officers. Police in Geneva responded with tear gas and water cannons to disperse the crowds.
It's very interesting.
Nearly a third of France's entire bomb disposal unit has been deployed to Yvin to ensure security for the G7 summit. More than 20 years after the G8, which was marked by violence and significant damage in Switzerland, French and Swiss authorities have put in place maximum security measures. At least 6 people died in Brazil after 2 helicopters collided in western Rio de Janeiro. The helicopters crashed into the parking lot of an electric car dealership, igniting a fire that engulfed at least 20 vehicles. A statement from firefighters said that initial reports pointed to a mid-air collision, adding 6 fatalities have been confirmed and that all were crew members of the aircraft involved in the accident. Rio de Janeiro mayor said that there were foreign nationals on board on one of the aircraft. Karachi has confirmed its 11th Mpox case involving a 40-year-old male who tested positive at a local hospital. The patient lacks a recent travel history, due to which health officials are heightening surveillance for potential local transmission across Sindh province. Well, this recent diagnosis brings the total confirmed infections in Karachi to 10 for the current cycle. The broader Sindh region has reported dozens of confirmed Mpox cases, with clusters heavily affecting districts like Khairpur and Sukur alongside Karachi. The Communist Party of Nepal is facing an intense internal standoff. A majority of secretariat members and youth wings are pushing Chairman KP Sharma Oli to step aside to allow for generational transition and party restructuring following the party's recent electoral setbacks. A week before the runoff election in Colombia, candidate Abelardo de la Espriella wrapped up his campaign at a massive rally in Buga. Buga is one of the country's major Catholic pilgrimage sites in the southwest, where Abelardo has promised to rebuild the nation and save it from the radical left. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Slovakia for a historic 2-day visit, the first ever by an Indian Prime Minister. Well, during his visit, Modi will meet Slovakian President Peter Pellegrini and hold talks with Slovakian PM Robert Fico. Upon his arrival in the Slovakian capital, Bratislava, Prime Minister Modi was accorded a traditional welcome with bread and salt in Slovak culture. Bread and salt is a symbol of hospitality, respect and goodwill. Modi's visit is expected to focus on strengthening partnerships across automobile manufacturing, railway development and economic cooperation. A massive forest fire has engulfed the Lamberi forest range in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri district. The forest fire follows a prolonged dry spell, which has led to a surge in forest fire incidents in the region. Noida International Airport in Geneva has begun commercial operations today. The airport has a capacity of 12 million passengers annually, which is expected to increase to 30 million by the year 2031. The European Commission is assessing the impact of new US export controls that forced AI firm Anthropic to restrict access to its most advanced models for foreign users. Brussels said security measures should not discriminate against allied partners. But the move follows a US order citing national security concerns, which led Anthropic to suspend access to its top AI systems for non-US users. The EU said the development highlights the need to strengthen Europe's technological sovereignty. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron have inaugurated the Bharat Innovates 2026 technology event in France. Addressing the gathering, Modi said India is emerging as a global technology provider and invited the world to co-create the next chapter of innovation with India. He highlighted growth in India's startup ecosystem, particularly in defense, space and nuclear energy. The two leaders also held bilateral talks focused on deepening cooperation in defense, space and technology, which I just told you ahead of the G7 summit. A cyber attack has disrupted services at 4 major Iranian banks, according to the country's Banking Coordination Council. The attack targeted a shared communications network used by Bank Melli, Bank Tijarat, Bank Sadirat and the Export Development Bank of Iran. Authorities said some banking services were temporarily affected as technical teams activated protective measures. According to the officials, no customer data was accessed, stolen or deleted, and recovery efforts are underway. Global markets are surging after US President Donald Trump announced a deal to end the war with Iran. US stocks futures climbed, with Nasdaq futures up more than 1%, while Asian markets rallied sharply, led by South Korea and Japan. Oil prices have fallen to their lowest level since March after the US and Iran reached an initial peace agreement to end their conflict. Brent dropped more than 4%, while crude slid nearly 5% as traders bet on the return of West Asian oil supplies. The deal includes plans to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a vital shipping route for around 1/5 of global oil and LNG trade. Analysts say the geopolitical risk premium built into oil prices is now being rapidly unwound. However, investors remain cautious as negotiators work towards a broader agreement during the 60-day ceasefire period. Gold prices rose 2% on Monday after the US and Iran reached a preliminary agreement to end their conflict. Spot gold climbed above $4,300 an ounce as a weaker US dollar and falling oil prices boosted demand for the precious metal. The deal includes reopening the Strait of Hormuz, easing concerns over energy supplies and inflation pressures. Markets have also reduced bets on future US interest rate hikes, improving gold's appeal. Silver, platinum and palladium also posted strong gains as investors repositioned following the breakthrough agreement. Iran's football team arrived in US as the announcement after a peace agreement, while the squad landed in Los Angeles after flying from Mexico a day ahead of their World Cup opener against New Zealand. Japan scored an 89th-minute equalizer as they twice fought back to rescue a 2-2 draw with the Netherlands in Texas to open their World Cup campaigns. It was a game of two halves as all the goals came in a pulsating second period after a cagey first 45 minutes. Liverpool talisman and Netherlands skipper Virgil van Dijk scored the opener, rising to plant a well-placed header into the bottom corner after a pinpoint cross from his club teammate Ryan Gravenberch. The lead lasted just 6 minutes. Japan struck back with Kieto Nakamura firing low past goalkeeper held by a deflection. Dutch winger Samuel then curled a finish into the bottom corner just after the hour to restore the lead. The Dutch looked like they would hold on, but Japan levelled at the death with Crystal Palace midfielder Daichi Kamada credited with the goal after a deflection. In Group E, Germany thrashed World Cup debutants Curaçao 7-1 and a 90th-minute goal gave Ivory Coast a precious victory over Ecuador. Tyra Banks is suing Netflix and the producers of the documentary series America's Next Top Model for defamation. The former supermodel alleges the streamer used selective editing to misrepresent her comments, effectively fabricating a narrative that damaged her reputation. Banks claims a lengthy 3.5-hour interview was reduced to just 16 minutes, deliberately omitting vital context and accountability regarding past controversies on the hit reality show. Oscar-winning composer Ludwig Göransson is foregoing a traditional orchestra for Christopher Nolan's upcoming historical epic, The Odyssey, to authentically capture the sounds of ancient Greece while he has utilized replica instruments from antiquity. The unique soundtrack aims to accurately reflect the Bronze Age setting of Homer's legendary tale. American singer and comedian Oliver Tree has tragically passed away at the age of 32 after two helicopters collided mid-air over Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. The Sunday morning crash in the city's western zone claimed the lives of all 6 people on board. Authorities are currently investigating the cause of the fatal collision. The Central Board of Film Certification has officially granted an A, meaning Adults Only certificate to Cocktail 2. Directed by Homi Adajania and starring Shahid Kapoor, Kriti Sanon and Rashmika Mandanna, the romantic drama sequel will have a runtime of 150 minutes. The certification marks a career first for Kriti Sanon, while serving as Rashmika's second adult-rated Hindi film and Shahid Kapoor's 5th. Akshay Kumar's hit horror comedy Bhoot Bangla has concluded its phenomenal theatrical run, grossing an impressive 259 crore rupees globally, which is nearly $27 million. Directed by Priyadarshan, the film has cemented its status as a clean hit and has officially become Kumar's highest-grossing release since the pandemic.